This is Gary Atencio with CNTV, and today we're in Elizabeth, Colorado. I'm here at Healing Pines Recovery. Since 2019, they have provided privacy and individualized care tailored specifically for each man to ensure longevity and fulfillment in life and recovery. I'm joined with the founder, Paul. Thanks so much for joining us here today.
Thank you for having me.
Let's start off a little bit about yourself. You were formerly educated in mechanical engineering. While attending the Academy of Art University, you had some roles in San Francisco as well as Los Angeles. After a decade in project management, you really kind of found your calling in the field of recovery. Why don't you share with us a little bit how you ended up here in Colorado and how your story began?
Yeah, thank you. So how I ended up in Colorado, I'm actually originally from Colorado. And, I pursued my education in California. Actually, my son was born in California. And I always felt like I was going to come back to Colorado. I didn't know exactly what that looked like or how it was going to happen, but I was going to come back to Colorado. It happened to be through recovery, and that was part of my recovery path and journey, but also, my pursuit to help other people in this field. And ultimately, I opened up a treatment center in California with 4 other partners back in 2014. And, we parted ways. I parted ways in about 2016, 2017 with the idea, with the vision to open up Healing Pines. And that was having the space to do what we do and offer the services that we do. And the location speaks for itself. Our staff is incredible as well, but it does make a big difference to program and recover in a beautiful place.
So definitely a personal journey for you.
Absolutely.
Professional and personal, it's what your passion is. Colorado studies found that between 2012 and 2016, treatment admissions for substance abuse doubled for nearly every drug. Are these stats surprising for many people, would you say? And is this an issue that sometimes stays in the shadows, and is just awareness a good start?
I think awareness is a good start, but I feel like we've been stagnant with the level of awareness for quite some time. There's a stigma to this day around addiction. I think it's getting better. I think more exposure to addiction, to mental health, the two go hand in hand, co-occurring disorders. They got to do better. They got to do better. And I mean, talking about it in school, my son, he's in school, he talks about it. I go, and I speak openly to whoever I can, as often as I can, about recovery and people in recovery and what it looks like to destigmatize and let people know there are options. There's quite frankly not enough out there. However, I think we're headed in the right direction.
That is excellent. Stats also show that men are most likely to abuse drugs and alcohol, with 11.5% of males over the age of 12 have a substance use disorder compared to the 6.4% of females. Yet, are there unique challenges for men because of society, upbringing, for them to reach out for help?
Yes, absolutely. What is it to be a man? And I think that's one of the things that we navigate and explore here at Healing Pines. And most of our guys who come through here have some level of difficulty describing and explaining or defining what it means to be a man. And that's part of our journey, not only just in recovery for substance use, but also just identifying as a man, what that means to be a man, and that's showing up, it's being present, it's being emotionally available for the people that you love. The stigma around being a strong male means you can't open up and be vulnerable, and I think that's backwards. And I think there needs to be more vulnerability and more openness, more expression of our thoughts and our feelings. I think that benefits both the parent, the spouse, the whoever it is, having that open dialogue and having these discussions like I have with my son, where he gets to see a grown man, a person who shows up and is present and does what he needs to do, that loves his son. But I talk about my emotions with my wife, and we have conversations. And my son also has conversations with me, and he's very open, and he expresses how he's feeling, his frustrations. So it's about being open and honest and being vulnerable.
As a parent, I would agree with that. Definitely a need for that. I mean, there are many stats, as we can see, yet from the moment they arrive here, they are welcomed as an individual, not a statistic. Is this not a one-size-fits-all, but really a unique individual journey with customized care?
Yes, that's exactly what it is. I feel like most people could probably benefit from our program, to be honest with you, in that it's just a welcoming, healing environment. You're out here in the beautiful trees, the views of the Front Range, pickleball, disc golf, hiking trails. Our program, though, is designed and tailored to fit the needs of men in recovery. Yeah. It's a gender specific. There's less distraction. I think it's something to be said about other men opening up, being vulnerable, loving and caring about each other in this environment. And the same goes for women in women's programs. So it is not. This isn't a one-stop shop. There's a lot of work to be done, but it's a great start. We arrest the addiction for 30 to 45 days. You heal physically, spiritually, and mentally, and you get to a point in your life where you're probably the most fit and healthy that you've been emotionally, physically, and spiritually in a long time. And that's a really good start.
That's exciting. Before we discuss the professional staff and your program that you offer, I mean, we can't help but notice that the tranquil and beautiful environment where this takes place. Does nature deserve some credit here in the healing process, and why do you think that's important?
Yes, it does. 100%. In fact, if it wasn't for nature, this area would not have been chosen. The trees, the views, the wind, the peacefulness, the everything about Healing Pines and its location. It'd be so hard to give it a percentage of what it deserves, but it's a high percentage in that you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong with the space, the fresh air, and this is wintertime, summertime, springtime, fall time. There's always something to be offered. That's another perk to Colorado, is we have 4 seasons. Having come from California for like 10 years, there's 2 seasons really, so it's nice to have 4.
I've heard a lot of people miss that and end up coming back to Colorado.
Yep.
So let's begin with, honestly, just the decision to fight an addiction to drugs or alcohol. I mean, it's complex. It's intimidating. It's even frightening. Would you say that the first step can be the hardest? And what takes place in the first step of detox?
Yeah, the first step really is admitting that you have a problem, that you might need help. And that's a very difficult step to take. I commend every guy who reaches out, every person, quite honestly, who reaches out and asks for help. That's a very difficult thing to do. Step 1 is asking for help. Step 2 is being willing to accept that help. And there is help out there. There are resources out there. If we're not the right fit, we'll point a person in the right direction. But yeah, detox. You go to detox, and typically it depends on the substance. We have alcohol, we have various kinds of drugs, but it can go from an overnight, 24-hour, which is rare. Usually you wouldn't have anything in your system for at least a day in advance, to 2 weeks, 3 weeks, depending on what the substance is. Your average length of stay is, I think, 5 to 7 days.
Wow. Interesting. So detox is the first step, but detox on its own is usually not enough for recovery. How important is the need for treatment of the psychological part of the addiction?
It's paramount, quite honestly. And unfortunately, the majority of people who do go to detox do not continue their recovery in a program like ours. I think you would probably see different statistics and ratios for success. If you want to call it success, we base that off of quality of life. But if people were to follow through, so drugs and alcohol are just a small component of the problem.
Yeah.
It's a bigger issue. It's not just the drug. Once you get rid of the drugs, drug and alcohol, you're left with self. And usually we've been running away from something when we're diluting our bodies with this external substance, and we're running away from that connection to self and to others. So when you take the drugs and the alcohol away, there you are.
There you are.
Now you have to get to know, who the heck are you? Who are these people that love me? And you have to get to know everyone again. And it's a very scary process. So that's part of what we're doing throughout this 30, 45 days, is reintroducing that person to self, reintroducing them or exposing them to self-care, love, connection.
So once a patient is stabilized through detox, now the treatment really begins. Does residential treatment allow them to fully experience 24-hour care and therapy so they're able to confront the challenges of the substance abuse?
Yes, it does. So our clients are here programming 7 days a week, 6 hours a day. That's a lot. That's why we're outdoors. We mix it up. We try to break it up. We're not just in a classroom, with a teacher in front of the class teaching the whole time, but it's heavy, intense stuff. It's psychoeducation. It's cognitive behavioral therapy, dialectic behavioral therapy, a lot of evidence-based treatment modalities, but you're also working with a therapist one-on-one for individuals. You're working with our psychiatrist for medication management, and you're working with our aftercare professionals to get people to the next step.
So one-on-one, groups, all that takes place here.
Yes.
Because they're able to access the highest level of care 24/7, is residential treatment often more successful than detox or outpatient care alone? And is that what you kind of experienced, not only personally, but maybe professionally as well?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. For my own personal journey, it was a combination of detox, residential, 30 days, sober living for about 3 to 4 months, and then while I was in sober living, it was continuing to do intensive outpatient. And now this is all while I was still maintaining a career at this time. So it's doable for people who have a career, have a family, have kids. It's kind of do whatever it takes to stay sober, and it's the whole process, the whole continuum of care: detox, residential, outpatient, sober living, community, connection, therapy, one-on-ones, all of it.
So really not disrupting your life, but really putting it together for your life so you can continue moving forward.
Exactly.
I mean, I see this kind of as a whole package personally. I mean, it's the solitude of nature, the structure of routine, clear boundaries, accountability, and the best professionals on staff helping you along the way. All this allows each person to focus on getting healthy and really eliminate gaps of downtime. Would you say that kind of gives stability to some of the rougher moments of recovery?
Yes, absolutely. We have a very busy schedule while we're here, for sure. But there's also plenty of time for self-care, self-reflection. Schedule is good for anyone, but personal time is also very good. We have a wide variety of people. We have some people who did not have enough structure in their life, and then we have some people who were too regimented and want to control too much. And there's an element of letting go, which is very difficult for a lot of us to do early in recovery, is letting go and trusting others to know that maybe they know the process and maybe what they're doing works and I should try that.
So letting the professional take a look and come up with that customized plan for you, like you said at the beginning. Does everyone that works here have a personal tie and a drive to seeing the success in others? And is there kind of maybe a been there, done that wisdom that some of you can share with others that is relatable to the patient?
Yeah, everyone, without a doubt, on staff has a deep, deep connection for our guys and their success. I think that's one of the things that sets us apart from a lot of other places. You can look at our reviews. I could give you a phone number for any parent and any client, and I guarantee they would all say probably roughly around the same thing, is that everyone at Healing Pines truly cares. From the moment they call and they're on the phone with usually me, to the time that they're here, to the time afterwards, we're invested, we're involved with the family, with the client themselves. Personal experience plays a part. That would be me. Many of our other therapists are not in recovery and don't have problems with addiction. However, they love the clients. They want to see they're invested in their success, and we want to find out what is the solution. What can we do and implement that will work in your life? It looks different for everyone. There's not a one-size-fits-all. It's not here you go, here's the magic pill. We need to find out what's going to work for each individual and have that work with their lifestyle. Some people have kids, some are married, some are not, some are 20, some are 55. We have to find something that works, and I don't think you could truly do what we do if you did not care to the level that we do.
That's a prerequisite for working here. You got to care.
You got to care.
And like you said, not only directly are we all affected, but indirectly, be it yourself or with others that you love, you have felt the devastating impact of addiction. You have experienced it firsthand, the chaos and power of addiction that can devastate a family and all that touches them. Is it fulfilling for you and your staff having a personal stake in the success of your patient's recovery?
Yes. I mean, I guess I can probably speak on behalf of the rest of the staff, but I know for myself, yes, it's the most rewarding thing I've ever done in my life. Working with the clients, working with their parents, working with their wives, working with their kids, seeing them out here, seeing the progression of the way someone looks when they first come in, day 1 to day 30 or day 45, they're almost unrecognizable. You know, I mean, the spark in their eyes, the color of their skin, the tears that you share with family members and with the clients, it's the most rewarding thing, and it's energizing. It's incredibly energizing to show up and be here for these guys.
That's got to be great, just to witness that transformation. That's why we felt it was important to come out and share your program. Viewers, take a look at the bottom of the screen right there. What you're going to see is their website. On the website, you can see all that they can treat. We're talking about drugs, alcohol, trauma, or maybe even a combination of each. The first step can be the hardest, so reach out today. Schedule a visit for yourself or for a loved one. This recovery ranch and lodge, it's nestled in the Pines. It's a place of solitude and beauty, and a place where you can leave the stresses of daily life behind and focus on healing and recovery. Once again, that is Healing Pines Recovery here in Elizabeth, Colorado. This is Gary Atencio with CNTV. And if you don't know, now you know.